Good morning, church family. Pray all is well at your house. Today we're going to be reading out of Romans 1. And first I want to give you just a little briefing, background briefing as to what has happened to this point. As we know, as we read in Acts, we know that the Holy Spirit was poured out like God had promised, and the church was built and established and spread throughout the Roman Empire. Well, Paul is the individual that had probably more to do with the spread of the gospel in the Roman Empire than any other apostle. We also see at this time where he has gone on 3 missionary journeys and has planned to go to Rome. And he writes Romans 1 from Corinth on his 3rd missionary journey. Now, this is kind of important because when we go from Acts to Romans, we see that Paul has written the next 13 books, and it's about doctrine, and it's to the churches and to individuals throughout the Roman Empire. And the rest of the New Testament is much like that. So we've gone from history to doctrine and practical instruction. And in Romans 1, we see the first part of it where he tells the people he longs to see them, and he's has always had a heart to go to Rome, and he does finally make Rome. And from there, Paul teaches by grace alone, through faith in Christ alone, called by the word, confronted by the word, convicted by the word, and changed by the word. Romans 1 starts out with this greeting, and he longs to be with them. And again, we see some very solid doctrine here. And as we get into the middle of the chapter here, verses 16 and 17, it talks about the just live by faith. And don't miss verse 16 there. And then as we go into the next section of this chapter, we also see one of the questions we are often asked: what about those that haven't heard the gospel? This describes that. And since creation, the invisible attributes of God have been seen, and man is without excuse. Please read that in detail. And then at the end of the chapter, we see a vile sin that God gives them over to debased mind. And Paul tells us that our lives can become so vile that God will give us over to a debased mind, knowing the judgment of God, but living in the lust of the heart. I pray that you have peace today, and have a great day. God bless you. Bye-bye.